Hey everyone, I'm Ross, and we're going to look at mapping in the remote design sprint. Let's get into it. So in mapping, this is where we're setting the journey out. Whether it's a brand new product or an existing one, this really helps a lot of teams understand their business in a wider context. So what we do, we've got 45 minutes or so for this activity, is list the key customers or key players on the left, as the sprint book would say, and then going through a few areas to get to the point of reaching their goal, we can start mapping out their experience. And you can do this within a customer experience. You can do this within an employee experience if you're looking at more of a HR initiative or career planning. And I use the example from the book, which talks about blue bottle coffee. So the goal, and we try and switch to the end point. The goal was to buy beans in an online store. They had a website, but they wanted to grow the sales in coffee beans that they had within the online store. That's the goal. So jumping back to the front, who's the key player? So they were looking at creating and increasing new customers through the online store. And how would they go about that? They would go through a discovery phase. So how do they discover either their need or discover blue bottle coffee itself? So they could go to the store, they could do a web search on Google, or they might see a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a TikTok clip. Then you move on to learning. And learning is about understanding whether this solution, whether this product is useful for you. Is it going to solve your user needs? So in store, you may talk to a barista. Online, you may compare competitors, open up more tabs, find out other ways to do it. You may go to Amazon and see how cheap their coffee beans are. And then there's a using phase. Now, in store, it's quite easy. You can have a sample coffee. If you're at a small micro pub, you might have a taste of a beer, and that helps you make decisions and also brings you closer to the product's experience. So having that taste is in the using part. In wider SaaS products, it might be a free trial. It might be watching a video. It might be onboarding. These are placeholders to help guide the team to working out those key areas. And then ultimately choosing the beans and buying in the online store. So as a team, you can work on the map and put in your first user. Sometimes we see 1, 2, maybe 3 key players, and then we go through each area, each placeholder, always adding arrows in between. So for arrows, you can just bring one in like that, make it a good one. And so what you don't want to do is create this laundry list or just multiple tasks of how people can discover and all the ways that the people can discover, because it starts to become unwieldy. So you could start saying, hey, it's a Facebook ad. No, it's a tweet that they might have seen. No, it's a email newsletter that you've sent out. I advise just putting the key ones in. Maybe the most popular, maybe the most used. Edge cases aren't a great way to focus in on solving the key problem. You can add them in, but just bear in mind it takes time, and ensure that you're moving the team forward, and you're keeping momentum. 45 minutes can be quite a long time, and you might find that this section compresses if it's quite an easy map to do, but the map often brings up discussion. And with the teams that I've worked with, they pause for a long time before they write the first post-it. So as a facilitator, I encourage them to write the first thing. And that's often getting to the goal and saying what your goal is. So your goal might be a 5-star review in the App Store with a good written. That's your goal. Your players, they're going to be just new customers, and they're probably going to discover through. Let's put a Instagram ad in their story feed. How are they going to learn? They're going to click on the. They're going to swipe up to the landing page. If you move the arrow just slightly, it will connect to the note. So you can move that down, and you can say, swipe up landing page. And think tasks, not emotions. Think about the bits that you're going to do. So click on App Store button. There, copy and paste this arrow over. Going to move learning up a bit. And you're going to read the App Store page. Now, if you've got a big group, say you've got 10, 12 people, what I often do is split the team up, and half work at the beginning and half work at the end. And then we have time at the end to align, look at what we've done, and get to consensus. Okay. So using, they may download. You want to think about a maximum of about 15 steps. So tap to download, open the app. And there's a large area on the board because you can start finding there's some really interesting areas to go into. So goal, I can move a bit over here. Okay, open the app. Read onboarding. And to register, to make your first account. Actually, view what's new feed. Just a tip to lock down the areas. This is so much easier to do than when we would do this on whiteboards, because you just quickly run out of space. you'd start, and then areas like start cramming up, and you're like, and if as a facilitator you're not on top of the early stages, it starts to become really hard to course correct. So remind your team to put arrows in between. Remind your team to put one task on each note. So let's drag that down there. And if need be, if you do run out of space, you can make all the notes smaller. How do you do that? Well, you can make this smaller, select all the notes so far, and that final one. Get rid of the arrows. Let's get that first one in as well. There we go. And you can say resize to smallest. I'll bring them all down. Just readjust the arrows so that you do get a bit of space just to play with. So as a facilitator, you're reviewing, you're looking at what everyone's doing, also checking that everyone's contributing. Some people may kind of hang back a bit. If you do feel like one person is hogging the whole conversation, suggest that you go around the team and each person writes or suggests the next step. Then at least everyone's contributing. So you've got register, you've got view what's needed, what's new, and then you can bring that up there. And then you can use a scene enough, ask for a 5-star review. I'll review, right? There we go. Okay. So there's just one track of a map. But this is an incredible tool and should outlast the remote design sprint. This should be a tool that teams refer back to, that you update over time. And you don't have to write up. You don't have to put it in a different format. You can just use this. So 45 minutes or so, you then start to get a really good and clear map. And you can do this for all kinds of things, not just product design. You could look at the run up to running an event and also post the event. And the goal might be to have many people share photos of the event to kind of ensure that people feel like they had a great time. You could do a map for running a webinar. How do those bits look like? You can run a map to look at your sales funnel, and your goal is to close 10 leads a day or something. So really the map is a great tool to help the team align, understand their area, get to know each different part of what that looks like. And then you can take the Ask the Experts How Might We's and position around the map. So our how might we's earlier, I'll just write them again, just for reference. Let's do the, so how might we ensure that people can just quickly, how might we early sure value from then you can start playing this game of higher or lower or left or right. So taking your 3 how might we's from the RC Experts round, how might we ensure that people can find the app? So that's probably around the discover area. How might we gain 5-star reviews early? So we're asking about reviews around here. When in doubt, bring it more forward in the map. That's always a great tip. So 5-star reviews, it's about getting value early on. So it's around there. And how might we ensure that users get value from the app in the first few seconds? So that's probably ensuring that onboarding is good. There we go. Okay. And so the next part is to select a key player and a key target to focus on. And once you've decided that, you can just put a circle around it. So the key player is going to be the one that we've already got. Let's give it a good green. Put a nice circle around there. And then key target. Where are our how might we's? So quite a lot of them. Well, these key 2 are around here. So it's probably around this area here. Okay. And within 45 minutes, you now have a map of your product. If it's a new product, you've got the first beginnings of what this step-by-step process looks like. And you can start considering some of the focus areas and align as a team on what they are. So they know who we're focused on, and we know what part of the map we need to design for. And that's what the mapping activity looks like in the remote design sprint. If you like this video, give it a like and consider sharing it with someone who needs to see it.